What's up, Go enthusiasts? We're here on Telesumego, presumably. I'm watching some pro games tonight. Shibano just hopped in the room. Shibano Toramaru to watch with us. Obviously, won't type, but anyway. Fun to see. These two pros, I don't know them in particular. This is the first time they're ever playing. I guess I can look up at least the one whose characters I can read. Let's see who 15 Balloon is. The opening here is sort of a standard Moyo versus Moyo type opening, right? Looks oh. Really? Wait. Oh. We do not have a we do not have a record for who that Japanese 2-dan pro, female 2-dan professional from Japan versus a male 1-dan professional from China here. And unfortunately, I can't figure out exactly who either of them are. But that's okay. That, you know, they should both be relatively new pros. I can say their records since you can't see them here. The Japanese female pro is 13-7 in her last 20 games, and overall it goes about even, and maybe like slightly below even. And then it's the same for the Chinese pro. They both have very similar win rates, but Chinese pro in the last 20 games is 8-12 instead of the positive win rate for Black. So perhaps Black is picking it up recently. A lot of pros, when they become pro, they get bullied, and then after a few months, maybe a year of being pro, they get a lot better by having such frequent practice against professionals and professional friends and all such things like that. So it's possible that this Black player may have racked up a lot of losses just when they became pro, and then nowadays they're a relatively strong Fox professional. It's a relatively common story. Okay. Interesting cut coming here. Very interesting. Since, of course, this is going to lead to some trading. And now they're looking at what's going to happen after the wedge on the top side. Looks like white should fix somehow, but I'm not sure how. That connect is the obvious way, but it can have problems later, particularly with this peep underneath. So this black is actually like quite a bit thicker than it looks like. Right now, Black doesn't want to commit to that because it'd be small. So Black's thinking like I should run, but how to run comfortably. They run with this group first, saying I'm not surroundable on the top side, which is a good way to speak. Makes sense. Okay, so from here, the game is going to go explosive. This is an extremely violent start to the game. Attach, necessary, I think. You have to run out, and you have to run out fast. If you would be a little bit slow here, you'll easily lose momentum. But wow, okay. We have extreme counterfighting from white here. White is planning to Atari and then connect the outside there. And then what that means is that there's a cut available to Black here, but white is saying you won't actually capture anything. And so I'm going to kill you on the top. So Black prepares, so this is threatening that cutting stuff in a way which looks very serious, seems like it needs to be answered. However, after that, it seems like these black stones may just be dead. It's very hard to imagine surrounding this. You can only start with this move. After that, white needs to do that. If white would hane, then there would be cut, and then after Atari, there would actually be cut here and Atari to save the topside stones. I don't know whether that would be done because it's like a pretty awkward trade. You give white a lot when you do that kind of trade, but it was at least available. Okay, so now here we have a net coming out. And this is very interesting again because we may see trading again. If Black immediately Ataris here and then connects, white will capture the stones here. So Black wants to throw in first and then do this. And then if white would have connected there, then when Black connects over here, then there would have been more liberty issues. So instead, we have the trading like this. They read everything out through here. This is basically a forced line, so that's why they're playing it so fast. But the problem is a forced line where I think Black is not doing well. It looks highly dangerous. So white goes and slices through over here, uses the Sente move. That was not exactly necessary. But anyway, at the end of this result, this black group, in its running, it's managed to gain 2 eyes, I'm pretty sure. Black may use this one first. Wow. Okay, she's much more ambitious than me. I should be more ambitious in this kind of position. I should learn from that. Yeah, this move is possible. You cannot squeeze and do this stuff because unfortunately at the end there's not just one Atari but a second Atari as well. Which should allow black to connect everything through. So now white is actually the one who's ending up very, very split here. If black tries to live this topside group, I guess there's still the Ko. So that's why black did not just hunker down and instead is going for a counterattack method to save themselves. And then only once the counterattack is all gone and they've evaporated all of their resources, will black consider coming back to like directly save. Because the Ko is so urgent, you cannot just ignore the fact that you have a Ko resource. I mean, honestly, the Ko would be urgent anyway. I guess I'm just stupid to try to ignore a Ko resource regardless. This turn looks like it's necessary. This sets up a Atari here. So it makes this shape much cleaner than it would be, especially if white had taken a chance to push through at some point. So this had set that up, and then black needed to answer, and then so now black is saying, okay, I got my 1 eye, so I'm going to go and make my other eye space, and of course that means white will continue this. Black will connect as her co-threat. That's why she didn't Atari earlier, and then white. This one, white was saying this is a co-threat, so if black had connected, then white would have pushed and then blocked here, and then black would be locally dead, only having the 1 eye there. And so now we have a really interesting complicated Ko situation where this black group and that white group they're all slightly weak while the Ko is going on. So I think this was a critical move for white. To take the first move of initiative over here really forestalled a lot of black counterattack against the top white group. And then eventually black decided I cannot continue to defend anymore. She simply connected, thereby saving all of that stuff. But white will continue to attack this center. Oh my. This is going to be very hard to save, but you can probably, if you correctly use all of the resources that are available. This outside surrounding shape that white is set up is very thin. It's way too thin to actually work to kill objectively, in my opinion. I'm of the opinion that like after black Tanuki you would be barely dead, not like easily dead, just barely. So that means without a black Tanuki, surely there's good ways to save it. Not just some way to save, but good ways. But here there might be trading methods as well. This move is so tempting, and you want to break through here, but then white will block here and kill those stones. It's not actually acceptable. So we're going to play Peep here, yeah, I thought, and try to aim at using the resource here. But after Peep and Connect, of course there would be a wedge threatened again. So it meant that black was setting up this chance to re-Atari one more time. But this is still very dangerous to white. White's shape is really awkward. He just chooses to connect to stop the double Atari outside and break from that direction. And then finally black will manage to escape through this route. We end up in a situation where black has a half eye over here, and obviously all the routes to the right side are going to be enough for black to save this group easily. And so black does not even try to save directly, but saves the most greedy possible way, saying I'm actually not only saving, but saving while reducing your space and safety on the top side. White does not care. White is trying to save his group on the bottom, but actually I think he should have cared. I think black should have some strike on the top side now. She takes a Biyomi to think about like what exactly she can do to set that up. If it were me, I would play here, but black is calmer than me. She's realized if she plays here, then white could eat that stone, and then we'll probably be able to eat this stone too for the second eye, I think. It's still not easy, actually, to save it, but I believe I agree that this group is safe. Oh my, what is happening now? So after the pincer here, black was sort of taking safety with this, but also saying this group can be weak and the whole center group can still be weak. White tried to sweep in underneath, and by sweeping in underneath here, if she can, or if he can counterattack this thing, it could be good. Black saves the corner, but white was really emphasizing on stopping the black connection here, because at the moment black was making miai between connecting to either side. So very interesting method by white there. Black basically, this one was supposed to set up counterattack against that, but because white had some sente moves over here, I think black really underestimated exactly how much tempo that white could get against the corner here. It looks like this corner is very nearly dead. Black just peeped once, then blocked, and then white gave up on attacking it. Really, wow. Gave up now. Did not continue. If it were me, I think I would have tried to continue to maybe even kill it. But instead it goes like this, and now black, by turning here, black is assuredly alive in the corner. If white ever connects, then black will have some sente move and then absolutely enough eye space. But white did not commit on that, and then is in fact even playing some aggressive endgame sequence over, and by aggressive I mean passive. Honestly, it should have been attached here if you're going to be aggressive. But this way it's more like aggressively saying I'm winning. I really didn't get the impression that white had done so wonderfully, but maybe this part was actually quite a score. I mean, I could definitely believe that was quite a score. However, white is suddenly fighting very hard over here, underneath. I mean, the initial attach seems like it should be viable, and then the descend is the classic way to use that, where if black had blocked, white would cut, it would be easy. But this way, now black has insisted on a new and different fight, which is not easy, not at all easy. And because of the aggressive, by aggressive I mean not aggressive endgame, over here, this black group is very difficult to counterattack, which means black connects here and tries to claim the bottom side, white is simply dead. That's a hard claim. So black blocks here, and then black would love to try to connect here, but white will wedge, and then black will just die. So 4 liberties to 4 liberties. You need to try to take liberties immediately. So this one seems like white can just jump, and then black is dead. I think black would now need to connect through here, but still cannot. Although maybe it's quite close. Oh. So this is saying I can still wedge if you fill there. So wedge now into squeeze. Actually very clever. Clever move by black. I didn't realize that the wedge is still set up. Well executed there. Okay, so here, because black has the sente move, it should be alive. Right? And wow, black is even asking for more, saying, hey, you only have these sente moves, and I have this sente move. So this is a real threat to cut, and then your whole group here is not alive. Well, it has the eye here and the eye here, so it's definitely alive. I guess it was just more for territory than anything else. Okay, so in the future, whenever necessary, black has this sente, but first, just taking this and not taking the sente is actually, often going to be better for the end game and for the sequences over here. So that's making sense. Finally, white just played this one. This is to finish off any aji that black could try to save the corner. And it's also obviously the best way to keep all that clean while taking the top side end game and threatening even some life and death problems over there. But it seems like white really does believe that he's taken this game, that he wins. Interesting. I wouldn't have been nearly so confident as white, and I think that's actually like serious skill difference. Um, Having a lot of confidence in games that you're leading makes you much harder to beat. Like from the black perspective, they wish that you would be unconfident and give yourself problems. So in this case, white really wanted to come down, and then if they would come down, there were, let me think, this, here, here, would have been fine. What was the problem exactly? Ah, it was push here that's the problem, right? Yes, push here that's the problem. Not really. Actually, I don't know exactly why white chose not to handle that. I've seen it be a TCG before, but I don't actually know off the top of my head. Ah, push here, then this, then cut. That's the reason why. I forgot about the cut. I forgot about the cut TCG. It's famous. So if white had descended, then black would have pushed here first. If white pulls back, then cut makes Miai. And if white blocks, then peep makes it so that black cuts with the bigger shape, thereby 4 liberties, and then white having 3 liberties, killing white. So it went like this. They're resolving the endgame here, relatively standard way. Of course, we're going to see this one. Forcing white to find a move to live locally. Yeah, I agree that this one should be the right way. You don't want to have to make some ugly, ugly shape. Interesting cut. Gained a little something for black in this case, compared to doing the endgame some looser way. Yeah, the cut was nice. It used the fact that Wei had some life and death problems still. That's a funny moment. Wait is taunting black over the fact that this one has 2 meanings, the connect under and the move here, which would threaten to connect back to this one stone. White showed, hey, you can take one or the other at that moment. And black said, you know what, fine, I will take the connect underneath. Because the connect underneath not only prevents black from having serious life and death issues here, but it also gains the couple of first land points in this part, which black otherwise would have needed to put the stone down to make an eye here to properly be able to get that. Interesting choice. This one also makes an eye, I suppose, so that's why it was not urgent. Probably this was a mistake then, right? Black should have emphasized these 4 points rather than the couple points over here. Slightly smaller. Okay, in the end, let me count. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I think Wei is winning by about 5 points. My counting could have been wrong. I wasn't exactly sure when I counted this part. So, um, I was like counting this, and then I counted this, but I like counted this one in between, but maybe only part of it, and I'm not exactly sure about it. So, I mean, that was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty poor counting. In the future, I should make sure to like keep in my mind exactly what I am counting while I count it. Then I will not make silly mistakes or just completely miss an area, which could have happened here. But anyway, the counting does conform to my general game flow analysis, which seemed like Wei honestly was leading by more than that, and then let off the brakes. Okay, but I guess I totally forgot to count this. If White resigned, Black wins by half a point is the last thing. Okay, yeah, my counting was utterly failed then. I just didn't count these parts correctly. The 2 points here and the 4 points here, I think we're totally missing in my counting. Oops. Okay, wow. Half point win for Black. Nice game. Let's see how that happened. Because that was definitely a throw by White. White did some wrong things to try to make the game cleaner. And that's really painful when you lose after doing that. Especially if you lose by half a point. So let's see. So at the beginning here, yeah, Black overplayed actually with this one. It was like you should run out. That was the necessary strategy and idea, but yeah, they should have run out directly from this part, and then their choice of running out here, it did indeed. It just failed. If you cannot net this, which effectively it didn't work, then at this moment here, yeah, the game should have been totally over. Wait, by 20 was my judgment at this point too. But I didn't know what happened later. I was very confused about what was happening from now. And yeah, so were they, clearly, because they didn't do it exactly right. This one, this is a very, how can I say, it's like, it's Honte to play there, but it's also kind of retrospectively obvious. This is like only in 10 seconds would a pro play this way instead, because what happened here was Wade just thought, I think, that he was catching these 3 stones, and then he was not catching them. So considering that you're not catching them, it doesn't make any sense. You just made a whole bunch of bad exchanges and then do the same thing you could have done from the start. And his method of running out was also not good. It could have been, yeah, it could have been here, and then Black can't cut, and then you have the whole counterattack over there, and all you have to do is save this group on the left side, and I mean this would have been a very, very clean way to play. Instead, this way, yeah, what he did by coming out here was he got more counterattacking potential against these, which is why the AI is like, you got to go use that. But this is extremely risky from humans' perspective to run all the way out like this and be like, oh yeah, I'm just counterattacking you. Like I'm gonna be totally fine with my corner group by killing your corner group, and then I'm gonna use your outside weaknesses to save myself. This is very hard. So much easier from humans' perspective is just set up directions for yourself to run. That's what he did. You can see the AI recommending to exchange something here first to like break the black shape. That's really common. Creating like 2 cutting points like that is very meaningful, and it was even meaningful now. So that's kind of interesting that yeah, we could have done that at basically any time. Would have been a way to make it so that this black group was more weak after this, but still the like overall part, the fact that that White got here was so critical, wasn't it? So at this moment when Black was thinking like, oh, I need to find a co-threat, I think she just like found a co-threat sort of lackadaisically. But instead it would have been much nicer if your co-threat was like active counterplay over there. Although it's still very hard, isn't it? Because it can easily become mispositioned. Like I guess the idea is that we just give up the co in order to make the active counterplay, and save the topside group, give up the left side, and just make the maximum counterfight against white there. The point to do something like that is to realize, oh my god, when white plays here, I actually lose control of the game, which is hard to realize in fast game. If they had more time to think, then they could know, like, oh my, this move is coming, that's gonna be white's co-threat, and then play accordingly. You have to like change your plans from the natural plan, in my opinion. Okay, so after this, then yeah, black baited white into attacking this part, and it was definitely savable. It was not easy to figure out exactly how was the best way. I did think this was slightly suspicious, yeah, because you should use that cut now, but it's really hard. She just used it from the outside like this, but it was not easy to like prove that it was going to be good. And wow, white could really do this. So this was not clear to me. There was some cutting issue happening over here. They were both like betting on this and thinking basically that black is going to kill this white group. The the actual line of play is not obvious at all. So here it's saying white can give up that one stone, and then that would be acceptable to go break the bottom side. That's an interesting way to do things, but it's not obvious at all to me that like this should work for white. But when I look at it, I can realize like, okay, yeah, black is busy. White is in time to be able to handle things there. Anyway, it went like this, and then, yeah, I was saying here, okay, black has some major counterattack against white in this part, and I was like, you know, black's figuring out what to do, playing here, and then she didn't do it. She didn't do it at all. She did this total other stuff down here. They were not paying attention to this group being weak, which, yeah, I think it's pretty clearly a mistake, because even if you don't do, this is the AI way, but even if you don't do it the AI way, and you do it like the sort of mistaken way like this, it's still going to be better than not doing anything and letting the opponent fix it cleanly. But this part was really interesting, yeah. Black got even another move, weakening that. And then now it was like super important. So now the correct move changed. It was this one now. But the point of playing this one should be that this whole white group is like literally going to die. Which is totally believable because you can just walk in. And there's cut here. So this should come in Sente. And then it's just dead. There's no way. There's no way white can do anything. Very hard to find the right move. You have to do the reading. So like eyes like that just appear magically are very annoying, but they do happen. But yeah, there's no eye in this kind of variation. So here, what exactly is it using? White is saving themselves using the fact that getting the descend here means that this black group is not locally alive, and by forcing black to stop this part from being locally alive, white could expand their liberties by like 300 million. So that's why here you can't play that one, but you have to attack from this side, allowing it into the corner and saying, hey, you can still not live. Okay, gotta be careful. But anyway, they were not careful enough, and eventually white got to come back and fix that. Yeah, I was thinking at this point that white would just go kill this part, but there was no... It was much better to go and save themselves. That was definitely a much healthier way to try to win the game. Okay, and then it was like this. And for some reason, yeah, for whatever reason, white did this one, which is sort of always a bad idea. Unless this is going to happen. I guess white was like, I don't want to deal with this stuff. This is hard. Which makes sense. This is not that easy to execute on. But in the case where you're like, that stuff's hard, I don't want to do it, you should have just like chillaxed and not done anything. And then he went in and came here, and black expanded the fighting power, and white used the cut method. The cut method was the problem, huh? Wow. Wow. Black could have ended up like globally busy that way. I see. So after the cut method, white was also slightly busy. It seemed like it should work here, but this black descend move was wonderful. And there was actually nothing for white to do after this black tiger's mouth, which is also wonderful. Yeah, I was reading this variation at that time. Here, here, here. This was my reading was like, okay, at this moment, I thought white should do something, and I was suddenly getting the dawning realization that, wow, white actually cannot do anything. So white would switch back to this part, and I was so confused. So what was going on? In the game, white just got this squeeze, which was, yeah, really minimal. And white had nothing better to do than to take that squeeze. So I mean, this was a wonderful move by black. This is something I'm absolutely gonna remember. Is that you can like set up those liberty tricks on purpose, and yeah, really great technique. And this was a great technique as well. Great probe timing, and just live like this. And then finally, yeah, white played that one, but should have exchanged this first. That makes sense. Just a slightly bigger territory. Black went and used all these forcing moves. And here, white fell back, because after this one... Oh, I thought it was here, but then you could just answer all the way. So it was not that, it was this one. I thought this was okay. But now you can't cut. I see. And if you played here, then there would be Atari, and then this way, and here. So that would make it so that there's a ko to capture the corner. Not acceptable. So that's why white fell back. Black got to push in all the things and use this move. So the AI hates it very much because it really, really wants this double sente to be played. And so it's thinking like, oh, if you played here, that means you're going to resist the double sente and let white try to kill you. And of course, that would be a bad idea. So that's why I was saying like -5. It's not actually -5 point move. It's just in the variations the AI is reading to like make it make sense. Black loses 1,000,000 points to make the game more complicated. Okay, that is insane. So this is a moment where black played a move and then white played this one, which does not threaten to live, and black could have been an absolute asshole and said, hey, that's that's not enough, you're dead. Wow. So now white can make an eye over here, or they could have made an eye over here, but not both, not cleanly at least. But they can eventually come back to it, but only by... Wow. I don't think that would happen. I think it would be here. But it's already, like, very big, isn't it? Wow. So this... Yeah, this move, of course it didn't occur to them to even look for it in a 10-second game. Wonderful move. It didn't occur to me to even look for it. It's just, you play a reducing move, and then this is your opponent's like critical eye space. Then they have to be careful of that. And they were really not careful enough of that. Like, not even close to careful enough of that. Black finally got that double sente, which is critical. And that was why. So, wow. And black slowly was gaining back. And then it was this cut. This cut was the winning move, critical winning move, to gain like an extra half point or something there. And I thought that here black messed it up, did it wrong. Basically, I thought black was supposed to do it here now. Let white connect there. You get to connect this, and then come back anyway. But this one would have lost by half a point. And the way that black actually did it is also supposed to lose by half a point. So where did black win? When did it happen? White connected here. That was the critical moment. Really? And from there already, it's very close. None of these were mistakes, but we're seeing the AI creep up. here black resolved this in, or sorry, white resolved this in Gote, and 0 points for black here. And instead, if they had done it this way, then it's white sente and black has half a point here. So then white could play a corridor move, something like that, and black, by playing in this sequence, black has about let me think. So black is now playing a 1 point move. No, black is now playing a quarter move. So a quarter move is the size of the Gote. It could have taken a corridor and given a half point. So this is about a quarter of a point better for white this way, but black would still be winning. In comparison to the game is like a quarter of a point worse than this. So then black was cleanly going to win by half a point. Finally, I can't believe white just resigned. That's crazy. Half point game, you just resign. So what? The final losing move was then here. It was connecting rather than using your tempo. Because basically that connect black can capture it in Sente. That's the best way for black to treat it. Then when you connect there, it's like taking a 2/3 point reverse Sente. Yeah? So that's approximately a 4/3 point move. And in comparison, if I had done some of these other moves, this one, for example, is proper 1 point Sente. But like this one is more like 1 point corridor. So this one is very close to 2 actually. And instead, white took 4/3. So that lost. Yeah, when white connected here, that lost about 2/3 of a point. Look, 0.7. And then it turned out that 2/3 of a point, just the way that the endgame works sometimes is that you have like just so many endgame to make something happen. Black sort of gets the last critical one there, and then white's method here was also not precise. So this, I think white probably was losing here if white did it the other way, which is, let me get it right. Half point, you take 1.5. I mean, to know, I have to actually know how many 1.5 point type moves there. So let me look around. So this one, isn't this one just a 2 point Gote? No, it's not, because black has to play the move inside anyway later. So this is literally just 1 point. This one's literally just 1 point. This one is 1 point corridor. So these two are Mia. It actually doesn't mean anything. So we're literally just handling the 1 point corridor and this part. Well, then that makes it really obvious then. Wait, doesn't that mean that this one was like a full point worse? Because, okay, not really, because black is going to be playing here anyway. Or, not really. Yeah. Effectively, right? This way should have been a full point worse. Now there's 2 points here, and then either way it would have gone like that. And instead, if we had done it like this, now there's only 1 point here, and these are still Mia. Why is... Wait, what? There's still a 1 point move here. That's still a 1 point move. Oh. So white was supposed to finish off this final 1 point move, and then it's the same. Okay, so because there's an odd number of 1 point moves, the fact that white lost effectively about half a point here turned out to not change the result at all when white used the wrong method. of reducing this part. Either way, black is already going to win. So the critical moment was definitely here. White playing the reverse sente 2/3 point rather than a 2-point move. He did it because he thought there's also Aji that he could use with the fact that he connected here. Like, he thought it was meaningful. But actually, there was Aji from the other side anyway. So the meaningful Aji of the cutting points here did not need that one. Or more than did not need. It was not even helped by that one. But maybe in theory could help sometimes. So his move is not necessarily always a 2/3 point mistake, but in this case it was. Interesting. I can't believe it. Wait, actually entered the endgame here? Like, consciously entered the endgame, leading by 20 points, and then threw 20 points. Yeah, he didn't see this part. I mean, this is really miracle saving for black. Actual miracle that all this stuff works. Black basically had no other choice, but it just happened to work out for her. And white ran all the way through because he didn't know what else to do. And then already he'd lost like more than half his lead, but then lost even more when he didn't try to get the double sente and play tight to the endgame. I mean, understandably, there's some scare factor. But if you could just get that one, it's literally 2 points better. Not even close if the endgame goes the same. And then here, it was way better to play the block like this. Because then, when you answer in the future, so you're going to get more points. If you do it this way, he just didn't realize that this clamp is coming, and then he can't block it because of the weird Aji is coming. Basically, if either way your plan is to fall back against this stuff, then it doesn't make any sense to not press for the maximum that you can. To fall back directly like this just made it much more awkward. White is now like gote and not even bigger. Also, there was something here. I don't believe that. Really? There is something here. So if black let you in, then you can try to save in the corner. And save the outside. Nobody would ever do that winning. Everybody will play the move that white played in the game. If you're winning the game, anyway. Because this is not just like, it's not just one thing that's scary. It's one thing if you're like solving the life and death in the corner, and if you solve it, you're good. But it's not just the life and death in the corner. It's the life and death of this group at the same time as it's the life and death in the corner. Nobody will ever take risks like this. I don't believe it. It's so hard. Then there was the critical Tsuji, which black had a big chance to switch the game. Couldn't grasp it, but still came into the half-point endgame here. And yeah, messed up by demanding to use the underneath the stones resource rather than aiming at using the outside resources here. Particularly the fact that you could save that stone to make this actually helped your shape a lot over here, didn't it? Wow. Because this means that now this one is meaningful for making a space there, and then of course black will still live in the corner. Wow. So allowing white to capture these couple points in the center was actually getting white back in the lead. But then finally it was this less than 2 points endgame where calculating exactly what's 2 points and what's 1.5 and what's 2/3 was too hard in 10 seconds. Nobody knows in 10 seconds. Everybody just feels. And I got it wrong and lost the game and resigned. Oh. It must have been a tilt resign, because, I mean, this is exactly the kind of game which, when I lose, I tilt. It's like, come on, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's supposed to be so clean, and somehow it's not. But yeah, it wasn't really that clean anyway, considering that there were some real chances over here for black. Good game, though. Instructive, I think, especially to like actively think about the endgame for once. It's rare for me. Shouldn't be, but it's rarer than it should be. So useful to actually think about it, to realize that there's a Tetsuji in particularly this shape. Yeah, that is the shape that the Tetsuji is in. Good instructive moment. Oh, it's not here, it's here. Oh, right. That's a wonderful instructive moment as well. If it's this way, then we can endure it, but it's not that way, it's this way. Very nice Tetsuji to break this part. And even better is to make the ko, I guess, but whatever. That's also, yeah, I should respect that too. Good game. Good game. So many details, so much going on. Very hard to control this kind of game. Very annoying when you don't. It feels like as white you really should be able to, but if the black players are playing well, your chances are very precise. Never easy. Yeah, stuff like not connecting here, that's crazy. Nobody human wants to play this way instead. Oh, I give you the 2 stones, let you kill this group, no problem. I'm just gonna vaguely get some counterattack on the left side and hope to come back. And I mean, when you see it, it's playable, but very hard to actively choose a variation like this. Would be better, but white thought that this one was better because white thought this one should kill. Yeah, I thought this one should kill. It did not kill. Crazy. Excellent descending move. Excellent tiger's mouth. No way. No way for white to handle it. Got broken, and then got outplayed. Nice game. Nice game. See you next time.